So today we continued on with some of the focus on our operational planning items. One of the key things we looked at this week was their back order management process. They have a lot of orders with clients that are with multiple products, so they're split, and often they will be able to deliver several of the products from an order, but they'll have other products that aren't in stock, or the suppliers aren't able to provide, don't currently have in stock. So that then leaves them with a situation where they've got to manage back orders and follow them up, and their process for managing those hasn't been up to scratch really. It's they're not happy with how it's functioning. So we've been reviewing that and looking at the way their system manages the back orders. It's not ideal. It really doesn't have the ability to split the orders and identify outstanding items from an existing order. So they've had to do it manually. We have discovered a report that gives us the basics in terms of being able to spit out a CSV report and put it into an Excel format and then follow them up manually, which will work. It'll get the job done. So that's what we're going to work with for the time being. Ideally, the data's all in their point of sale software system, and it wouldn't be that hard for the developers of that system to be able to pull that data and filter it, and even be able to create semi-closed out orders and sub-orders for the outstanding ordered items. But we don't know how responsive they're going to be to being able to do that. So in the meantime, we're just going to manage with the Excel spreadsheet. The other issue that they've had is they've had 3 different people in the business responsible for following up back orders. And what happens when everyone's responsible? No one's responsible. So that's part of their problem, is there hasn't been one person to go to find out what's happening with back orders. And so we're intending to change that, and I spoke with the purchasing coordinator today, and also with one of the other senior team members about having that being looked after by purchasing, and everyone agrees it makes sense. So we're going to give that a try. We're also going to look at including a review of this report and an update of it on a weekly basis. That is intended to happen through a weekly operations meeting. We're aiming at ultimately being able to streamline the day-to-day, week-to-week management of the business through some effective, simple, short meeting agendas and reporting, and a weekly operations meeting will be one of those. We also followed up on the procedures library, so the existing video procedures that I've mentioned in previous videos. We are now going to link the existing video procedures. They've been through them all. Most of them are pretty relevant, and we're going to link those into the software platform that we provide for our clients. We call it WOM, Web-Based Organizational Manager. And what WOM does is it makes it much easier for it's a centralized place for roles, procedures, training, communication, actions, for all those things to live. It makes it really easy for the team to access information, manage information, makes training really easy, and it makes meetings really effective, which is one of the big benefits of the WOM system. So we're going to put the links in there because that will then help populate the internal training side of things, and that will then contribute to the rest of the procedures as we run through the operational planning process. With the sales side of things, so a lot happening there because it's one of the it's really the key focus at the moment. It's where I see the main leverage being able to be delivered to the business from where it currently sits. So as we're getting deeper into the reporting, it's getting quite interesting. So we had the two reps, Rep 1, Rep 2. Rep 1 had the big client list, and Rep 2 had the small client list. Rep 1 also had the high turnover in terms of sales volume. What we have discovered though is the difference in their average sale is quite significant, and that's linked to their two areas of expertise. And so Rep 1, who is really good on the apparel side of things, her average sale is actually 1/3 the value of Rep 2's average sale. Rep 2 is really comfortable with the packaging, sells a lot of packaging. And so what has started as a result of this realization is we've now got them starting to work together and starting to introduce each other to their clients, and particularly their larger clients who could use potentially both apparel and packaging, which is a fairly significant proportion of BizGear's client base. So this is great from a few angles. One, it should lead to more sales, obviously, but two, it also increases the level, improves the perception of the business to their clients, having people with expertise in different areas. And the other thing it does is it also gives us a bit of redundancy from the client's point of view in terms of sales representatives and who they're dealing with, because they've now got two faces that they're familiar with, two people from the company that they've been introduced to, which so gives us a bit of redundancy as well. If we happen to have one of our reps leave, then there's still a familiar face there to service the existing client base. So that was a plus as well. And so another important thing I've had them, so I've added another task to the to-do list, which I'm hoping they'll have done by the time we have our next meeting, which is actually going to be in a couple of weeks' time, because we're about to head into the Christmas New Year break. But what I've asked them to do is each of the reps has their own client list on a spreadsheet, and I was talking to the business owner today about having the reps go through and categorize each of their clients as either a 1, a 2 or a 3. So categorize them as a 1, yeah, we can definitely sell this client more stuff. 2 is we can probably sell this client more stuff. 3 is this client's probably maxed out or too small, not worth putting the effort into trying to upsell or cross-sell. And this is going to make it easier in the new year to really get focused from the get-go on looking at opportunities to increase the monthly revenue from each of the reps. So that should be constructive as long as it gets done. So we'll see what happens when I catch up with them in a few weeks' time from that perspective. And yeah, probably the final thing, which I've already sort of touched on, is those meeting agendas, refining those and developing the standard reports that are going to go into basically the structure, the core structure. Good meetings should be structured around data and regular reporting, because that's outcomes. And if you're going to have a meeting, you should be discussing measurable outcomes. What did we achieve? What are we aiming to achieve? How did we go? Are we on track? And so a key part of what I'm wanting to do for the client in setting up these meetings is standardising their meeting agendas and standardising the reporting that supports those agendas. And that's coming along quite nicely. We're now able to, for one of the reports that we've been focusing on, leading back to the reps KPIs that I've spoken about previously, is the monthly sales volume. And we were exporting data into a spreadsheet, but now that we've been through the exercise of getting really clear on what it is that we want to be reporting, we've identified that within the existing point of sale inventory management system, that it actually has that information inside of it, and we found the right filters that actually allow us, rather than having to create spreadsheets anymore, we don't have to do that anymore, because we can now pull the reps live sales data straight out of the system, which is going to be really useful for those weekly updates of the sales, the KPI whiteboard. And it just pulls it up straight on the screen. We've got average sale value, we've got total sales for the month, we've got gross profit margin by rep, and they're all coming directly out of the system. So it's really interesting that just by going through the exercise of trying to put it into a spreadsheet, figure out what we want, how we can get it out of the system, it's just triggered a different way of thinking about how the information works within the system. The business owner made one really small tweak, and now it's filtering all that out for us live, which is a great step forward from the meetings and the reporting point of view. So we're doing pretty well, and I'm heading into a couple of weeks off, so this will be the last one for about a fortnight.